Hi, my name is Melissa Uchida. Um, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the violence that's going on in the world today and what we can do about it. Um, on my phone, my screen was locked and a headline popped up last week. It said 14 mass shootings over Memorial Day week. And I remember being scared. My first reaction was, oh my God, and panic, fear, disbelief. Um, and the following week, more mass shootings continued. And I know that as human beings, it's easy for us to blame other people. It's easy for us to point fingers at other people and to say, well, that was because of that, and that was because of that, and that was because of that. And this is what I know. This is what I have gotten in my meditations and from what I see, what I observe is that humanity is suffering. We are suffering. As a species, we're suffering. We're more isolated than we've ever been before, and yet we have the technology to be able to be with more people than ever before. And there are more people on the planet than ever before. We're lonely, we're scared, we're angry, we're resentful, we're feeling unheard and unseen. And when we end up feeling unheard and unseen, um, and while being bombarded with overstimulation. So we have these phones, we have these devices, we can tune into, I'm in Maryland, I can tune into what someone in Japan is doing or what someone in Africa is doing. I can watch someone dancing and saying, look at me, all the way across the world. And I can watch thousands of people a day that all want someone to look at them, that are all saying, please look at me. Now I'm here and I'm doing this on video because I actually wrote it out. And then I was like, I don't know, maybe listening to it might be better. It's not even about being seen, it's about being heard. Our human brains are short circuiting. We're not meant to be stimulated 24/7. We're not meant to have 500 TV stations to choose from. We're not meant to, and advertisers bombarding us all the time. We're not meant to have so many options. We're not meant to stay up till 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 5 in the morning. We're not meant to have the lights on and to be sleeping. I mean, we've got technology, we've got lights, we can stay up, we can read. It's amazing. We can do these things at nighttime. It's great. Um, we can connect with people halfway around the world. There are some great things. And at the same time, our human brain cannot handle it. And what we're seeing right now is the human brain short circuiting. So like a fuse box, you know, you plug in too many things and you get this surge and then everything shuts off and you have to go down and you have to flip the breaker switch and it goes back on. And then you go, oh my gosh, that's a reminder not to run the space heater while I'm running the microwave. Something like that. That's my house. No space heaters and microwaves at the same time. Otherwise, it blows. That's what's happening with humanity. And I believe that it's time for us to stop blaming other people. It's time for us to stop blaming some culture, some religion, some race, some color, some whatever, and instead look right at ourselves and say, what have I done to contribute to this feeling of isolation, to this feeling of fear, to this feeling of panic, to this feeling of hatred, to this feeling of anger, to this feeling of not having enough, to this feeling of scarcity? What have I done to contribute to that? And when we start to look at that, even though that part is super scary, I mean, it's scary. No one wants to look at that. I don't like looking at that. I look at that and I look at how many mistakes I make every single day. And I make a ton of mistakes every single day. And I do everything that I can to make it right by the end of the day. And if not that day, then definitely the next day. And I'm sure there are plenty of people that I have hurt that unknowingly that I haven't made it right with. But it takes looking at ourselves and going, what have I done to contribute to this? Have I walked into a place and been so glued to my phone that I didn't even look up and say hi to someone? So I've seen this watching my kids. When I would, you know, the kids get off the school bus or whatever, you walk into a room, a kid walks into a room, and if the parent is too busy doing whatever they're doing, the kid's face goes from so excited to And it happens like that. And when we're busy, we don't even notice it. We don't even notice. How often have we done that? How many times have you done that today? How many times have I done that today? How many times have I not seen someone or not greeted someone with a smile? And it's not that we have to be walking around with fake smiles. That's not it at all. This is about giving ourselves permission to be completely authentic. But authentic does not mean that everyone else needs to hear my opinion and that everyone else needs to agree with my opinion. And if you're watching this, you could easily be like, Melissa has no idea what she's talking about. I definitely don't agree. And that's perfectly fine. But for those of you that do have a little bit of spark of recognition, a little bit of something that goes, oh my gosh, this makes sense. I'm willing to look at myself. I'm willing to say, okay, it starts with me as one person taking some responsibility for the state of humanity. And the state of humanity right now is short circuiting. Our brains are short circuiting. We're not supposed to be bombarded with stimulation 24/7. We're not supposed to be tapped into what every other person on the planet is doing. Our brains are limited. We are in human form. That means we have a limited processing unit. So give ourselves the time. It starts with us. And I know for me, instead of blaming others and pointing fingers, I am turning it to myself and going, okay, so what can I do today? And today, what I thought I could do was to record this video and to share this with as many people as will listen, in hopes that someone listening will say, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm going to look at myself. I'm going to start doing a personal inventory. I'm going to start watching the words that come out of my mouth and watching the tone, not just how they're said and what is said, but the effect that it has on someone else. I'm going to start to actually pay attention to that and look at that. I'm going to start to notice the things that I might be thinking that might not be coming from a place of love or coming from a place of joy or coming from a place of connection. I'm willing to start looking at that. And once we start to look at that, it's like, oh my gosh, then we can start to catch all of these things. I didn't realize I had that thought. We start to listen to what we're saying. Have I been complaining? Have I been complaining? We'll find that we're complaining about the same thing for years and years and years, maybe even longer. We can be complaining about the same thing. Now, the same thing could have a different location. It could have a different face. It could have a different name, but it might be the exact same thing. And when that happens, we have to go, wait a second, you know what? I thought I was complaining about something over there. And the truth is, it's a shift that has to happen here. So the more of us that decide to take on the challenge, that decide to have the courage, and it takes a ton of courage to be able to look at ourselves and figure out what it is that we could be doing. I don't want to say wrong, it's not wrong, but what we could be doing better, what we could be doing to contribute to humanity rather than trying to like drowning rats, trying to like pull other people down because we feel like we're drowning. And I know that that's a completely normal thing. I spent years and years, probably decades in that state of feeling less than, of feeling unworthy, of feeling insecure, of feeling angry, of feeling unwanted, of feeling fearful of being abandoned or rejected, of feeling like I didn't have what someone else had. So I get it. I get it. And I know that as human beings, we are in this together. It might not feel that way, and I get it. We have our own individual bodies, we have our own individual brains, which have our own individual egos, and this sense of I. And the sense of I clouds our connection. It makes it hard to see the connection. But we are all intimately connected, and every single person affects every other person on this planet, every other creature on this planet. And I know that together we can make a difference. I know that together, and it starts with one, it starts with looking at ourselves without judgment, with lots of kindness, with lots of compassion, with lots of honesty at all of the dirty, yucky things that we haven't wanted to look at for maybe our entire lives. All of the things that we have hidden into a corner, that we have brushed underneath the rug, that we have thrown a blanket over or stuffed into a closet, all of that stuff that we have looked at, we can go, or that we've put away to not look at, we start to look at and go, okay, well, there was a reason for that. And I'm not bad because of it. I'm human because of it. How can I take that lesson and make it into something great and wonderful and become more authentic? And in turn, help others become more authentic. And once we all start to see our authentic selves, we'll realize that we're all light, we're all human, we're all connected, we're all bright and brilliant. And yes, we have different opinions and we have different cultures and we were raised different ways and we have different ways of doing things. And that's the beauty of it. So thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing this. And whether you agree or not agree, that's okay. Thank you for being here. And if I ask for one thing, I would ask that today just be willing to look at your words, your actions, and the effects that they had on the people around you. The effects go way beyond the people around us. Way, 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 way beyond. But if we can start to look at just the person in front of us, that requires putting down our phone. That requires time to unplug. That requires turning this off with some mindfulness, getting out, walking outside barefoot or sitting in the sun, watching the clouds. Just for a few minutes, put it all away, put the phones, put the technology away and say, can I take in a breath of fresh air? Can I listen to a friend for a half an hour? Ask them what's going on in their world and really listen with curiosity, not giving any advice, not trying to fix, not trying to change anything, just listening curiously for the answer. And fully going, wow, that's so cool, because I didn't look at it that way. I didn't even know that. I mean, it's just amazing if we can open ourselves up to it. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm probably going to have more, I'm not sure what to call them. I don't know if I'm going to call them rants or mini awakenings or aha moments. That's an Oprah thing. I'm not sure I'm allowed to call them that. But thank you for being on this journey with me. I hope that together we can make a difference in the world and that we can be the light in the darkness. And the more light we have, the more we'll be able to see, and not with our eyes see, but the more we'll be able to see how connected we are and how amazing this planet is and how amazing humanity is when we get rid of all the extra stuff that makes us heavy, insecure, dull, and isolated. All right, take care. Thanks. Bye.